Welcome to heCast, the official podcast of HeChangedIt. As always, my name is Mike Chisholm. As always, I'm excited to be here. I'm a broken record when it comes to this, but it's the truth. It's so much fun to talk to different people about their take on the aspect of wellness when it comes to men in 2021 and beyond, whether it's mental wellness, whether it's emotional wellness, whether it's physical, spiritual, and all of the above. It is great to have these conversations. I have so much fun having them. I have so much fun with the adventures that I have gotten myself into and the people that I have met through this process. I'm very lucky. Like I've said, I'm a broken record when it comes to these things. I'm the luckiest guy in the entire HeChangedIt team because all I have to do is have conversations with people while the other folk do all the heavy lifting about the app. Hey, speaking of the app, if you haven't downloaded it yet, check out the store, the app store that you are partial to, whether it's Apple or Google. Download HeChangedIt, check it out. So much stuff being added to it. You ain't seen nothing yet. Be an early adopter of this thing. And if you haven't subscribed or shared the podcast, what the heck are you waiting for? Please, ASAP subscribe and share this thing. And let's get this movement kicking off and let's change the world. That's what the founders of He want to do, is they want to change the world with all of the amazing people that we have connected with and have linked arms with us and become part of this HeChangedIt brotherhood that we're building here. My guest today is exactly, it's funny. It's like when you throw a stone in the water and then there are ripples that happen. You might, if you're a fan of heCast and you've listened to a lot of the episodes, you'll remember that we talked to John, the executive director of Heads Up Guys, and had him on. And we love what Heads Up Guys is doing. And, a little bit homegrown out of the University of British Columbia, but yet a worldwide presence in helping men and their struggles and performance. And I mean, it's not all about struggle. It's also about, dexterity and mental fitness and mental wellness and finding these little hacks in life that can make things better. And the guy that we're about to talk to right now is a guy who also appreciates what Heads Up is doing and when it comes to mental wellness in men, and has a real heart for that. And he owns a coffee company. And he's in Hawaii. These are a few things that I really love. I'm super, super excited that Trevor Perry has taken time out of his day to be a part of heCast. Trevor, thank you so much for answering the call when our team reached out to you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And again, like I said, thank you guys for responding to me so quickly. I'm so happy to be a part of this, and I'm so excited to be here.
This is really cool. So I want to enlighten the audience on kind of how this is transpired for you. You've got a coffee company. You really appreciate what Heads Up Guys is doing, and you're giving back to them. How did that all start?
So let me do a little backstory. So yeah, my coffee company, Chronic Roots, is actually fairly new. I only launched in March of 2021. So yep. It's been very, very new, and things are happening very quickly. And actually in the middle of this, I took a break. I took a 2-month break to work on my mental health. And that's how this whole process started. And that's how I found, I found the company that I'm working with, and that's how everything came into place.
So I assume, startups are startups. I mean, they're all different types of businesses and whatnot, but I see what the team at Here is going through during the startup process. Was your mental health break that you took? And by the way, congratulations for doing that. Let's right now put a little line in the sand or a flag. Let's plant the flag saying, hey, there are guys out there who it's okay to take a break. So, let's make sure we declare that right now. Was it the pressure of the startup of the company, all of the things that come with that? Was that part of the reason you needed to take the break?
Actually, no, the startup was going great. Things were happening quickly. Like I said, I was doing promotions in my area, but personal side, there were experiences that happened in my life where, after reflecting with my family and actually talking with my friends, I told them stories that have happened. And they looked at me and they said, I think you might need to see somebody. And that's when I took a step back and was like, I think you're right. So that's how it started. And that's how I found help.
So I'm obviously we don't want to talk about things that we're not comfortable about talking. Can you speak to the arena of where this distress came from? Was it a relationship thing? Was it what were you going through that? And I mean, keep it in broad strokes if you like, but what was it that?
No, I can answer. I can answer directly. Yeah, for sure. I actually found one of my family members passed away, and it was one of my cousins, husbands actually, and it was just a hard moment to see, somebody's passing and knowing that was the person that they loved. It was heartbreaking for me to watch, and that really stuck with me. That feeling of, what if I were to lose somebody that I love so dearly, and that's why it just stuck with me for a really long time.
You use the word stuck. When events like that happen, many times that's exactly what happens is we get stuck. It's almost like a record or a CD skipping, right? Like it can't get past a certain thing, which affects, of course, the listening experience on a record or a CD. For us, getting stuck affects the life experience, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. It affects the overall experience, even sleeping habits, your lifestyle. It affects everything around you, your moods, and that's once it starts to affect you in that aspect, that's when, I think it's time to get professional help on this.
Yeah. And the downward spiral of those things, that's a really, really good point because, whatever analogy you want to use, dominoes or chain reaction or, all of that kind of stuff. It starts out something, relatively minor. And the good news about that many times is when you can make that discovery and fix that minor thing, the chain reaction of things getting better can happen as well. Was that your experience?
Actually, yes. At the beginning, this is how it started. It was, like you said, it was something so minor. I remember I was with my brother and we were listening to an interview together. We were at an event. He was visiting for a little bit. This was in June, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to this story and I don't know why it just touched me so much. I started bawling my eyes. I had to leave, I was crying and, that's when it hit me. I was like, oh, wow. Okay. I have all of these emotions, I think I need to express it now.
It's interesting. We've had a lot of first responders who have talked to us over this time. And I mean, one of the things that I know that the team at He is wanting to build is for first responders, because what you're describing, and I don't know if they used PTSD in what they were talking about with you or not, but it's funny how PTSD is very, very similar. Like suddenly something will come on, whether it's, an interview, a song, whatever, and a trigger happens. And then all this emotion that you don't even know where it came from. Like, were there times where you're confused? Like, holy smokes, where is this coming from?
Yes, exactly. And it's so funny that you use PTSD because my therapist actually told me a couple of weeks ago, that's what my habits are representing. So, a lot of things are starting to make sense now, but at the time, when I have these certain feelings in situations that I've been in before, when I'm starting to feel a little different about it, that's when change started to happen, but it was all for the better.
Well, so we're a couple of guys here. We're a couple of entrepreneurs, both, optimistic, looking towards the future, trying to build good things, trying to do good things. And right now, I think both you and I can identify with the fact that when you're in those moments, like right now, it's easy to even talk about this right now. But in those moments where there's that confusion that you were just talking about and things aren't nearly as clear, like it can almost feel like claustrophobic at that point.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny too, because in a lot of those times, a lot of those moments, you're alone, but you feel so claustrophobic and you really don't know where to put that energy. And a lot of those ways that energy comes out negatively.
Yes.
Because you just don't know how to react. And, and once I started feeling like I was acting negatively towards, family members or my friends, or that I was irritable, at times,
Yep.
And even by myself, irritable, that all plays a role together.
Yeah. And it's horrible when you have that itch and you can't scratch it. And I mean, there's a lot of guys who listen to this podcast. That's where they're at in life right now. They're at a place where they just got, they're uncomfortable. Like they're uncomfortable in their own skin almost. Right. And I mean, the relief that comes when you finally have that, but then there's that stigma. Did you ever feel the stigma? Like you're Hawaiian, right?
I'm not Hawaiian, actually. I'm actually half Puerto Rican, half Scottish. I'm just born in Hawaii.
Okay. But you live in Hawaii though, right?
Yeah, I live in Hawaii.
Okay. Very relaxed kind of a place, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Does the stigma that a lot of guys feel about showing weakness, about, you're in a very relaxed place, but that's still, I almost think it's biological sometimes when we're weak in some area, or we're not doing well in some area, many of us as men have the tendency to bury that. Was that something that, was that a route that you took for a little while, or did you kind of immediately knew that you needed to get help?
No, I definitely took to, bearing the hatch, and leaving it be. But, what people don't realize is that stays with you. It definitely does. And then as time goes on and you don't release that, or you don't let it go, it just builds up over time. And I definitely did the route that you're talking about, though, is trying to tough it out and bury it deep down inside. But, once it comes out, everything comes out.
Yeah. Did it get worse before it got better?
Oh, definitely. For sure. I would say you would hit your lowest point before it gets better. But after that, it's such a relief.
Yeah. It's, I want to talk about that relief in a second, but the low point for you, the other part about the low point is, many times we don't know that we've hit the low point. Right. Mm-hmm. Like, because you're just having that free fall, and you don't even realize you've gotten to the bottom until you start realizing that you're improving. And to get back to the improving part, how empowering was it for you once you realized, oh, okay, it's getting better now?
It felt amazing, and like I said, I'm from Hawaii, and a lot of my stress relief, I love to.
Oh, we lost you. Is he still there, or did he disappear? Okay. I don't know if you can hear me or not, buddy, but your mic cut out on our end.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Just fine.
Okay. Oh, there we go. You're back. I don't know if you did anything or not, but you're back.
No, I didn't do anything. I don't know what happened.
Okay. We can cut that part out. No problem. So let's go back to the, the rock bottom part, and then the empowerment coming back up.
Yeah. Oh, starting now?
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. Yeah. So like I said, I'm from Hawaii. So a lot of my stress relief, I love to go to the beach, and, when I do a lot of reflecting at the beach, and a lot of my personal side of working through things is writing in journals. And I love to do that at the beach because I feel like that's where I can have the most clear mind possible. And I noticed I started doing real growth when I moved from writing in journals to meditating. And when I was able to meditate, it just felt like I could just let go all of that negative energy into the earth pretty much, and use that to benefit my mental health.
Had you meditated before this experience?
Not at all.
I love it. Fantastic, because we talk about this so much on this show. And I mean, it's people from all sorts of walks of life that come in and they talk about meditation and their different experiences with it. Here we got we're talking to a guy right now who literally in 2021, like in the last few months, has learned about meditation and whatnot. So can you take us through that? What is meditation to you, how the process began, and what it means to you now?
Yeah, I'll actually tell you how it all started. So I actually looked through my insurance actually. Yep. And I was looking to find a mental health professional, and being on an island, we don't have a lot of the resources here. And right. But the good part of it was that a lot of people were inquiring. So that's why my appointment was pushed back 10 months in advance. So they gave me this app, there's this app called Calm. And yeah. I was looking through, I'm sure you've heard of it. I was looking through it, and there was a meditation portion. And I don't know what drawn me to it. I was just intrigued, and there was just an introduction, and that's how it all started. And I just fell in love with it.
And Calm, like we're very familiar with Calm, obviously with HeChangedIt is like, they're almost kind of like mentors, like trailblazers, because HeChangedIt wants to do something very similar to what Calm has done. We want to change lives, but removing the male stigma, the male experience is a big obviously the focal point, but Calm is, yes, very much. We look like as an app there where we would be, want to link arms with them. And they ease people who have never meditated into meditation and have a process to do that, right?
Yes, they do. And they do it in short increments too. So I remember when I first started, there was like 3-minute sessions. And then as time went on, it turned out to be 5 minutes and 9 minutes. And then you can do, as time goes on. But that's the part that I really enjoyed. And then I started meditating in the sauna. That was a new thing that I started. And I don't know why. That was also another energy relief that I really enjoy as well. So I do about 9-minute sessions in the sauna.
You and I are spirit brothers when it comes to this. We've got an infrared sauna on our deck, and one of the greatest experiences that I have is going in there and if I can afford the time of 90 minutes and I can spend a tremendous amount of that time in that silence, in that place of just letting things go, being present, thanking my mind for all of the amazing things that it does when it spins, but saying, you know what, I'm just going to let you go for a little while and just letting that stuff just wash away. That's one of the best experiences I can have in a week. And I mean, oh man, we're very similar when it comes to that. Speak a little bit to the idea. So there's people out there who are maybe, who've heard about this, maybe afraid to try it. Maybe that stigma of weakness might be there. And also the other stigma is that I've run into, I don't know if you have, you've talked to people, but one phrase, there's a guy that I follow, his name is Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks about one thing that he says all the time is that there's no such thing as a bad meditation, and don't worry about it. If you don't think that you're doing it right, you got to free yourself of that. I'm certain that you can speak to that.
Oh, 100%. A lot of my initial troubles were of focusing and keeping my eyes closed for the entire time, because your mind wanders, of course.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the instructor knows your mind is wandering and will try to lure you back into it. So that's the part I enjoy. It kind of makes me laugh, actually. But when I get into those situations, I just make sure that I'm aware of what's going on. Like, okay, you're losing focus, open your eyes for a little bit, get in tune with your body and then come back to it. That's the main purpose of it, is acknowledging what's going on. And that's the same thing in life. You acknowledge what's going on in your life and you do something about it to make it better.
Absolutely. Do you prefer, now that you're in the journey that you are and you're kind of in it and got your feet wet, do you prefer guided meditations or ones where you just go for it in silence?
I've tried both. I would say it all depends on how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling a certain mood, sometimes I'll find a meditation that's geared towards that. So if I'm feeling some type of anxiety, I would try to get a meditation guidance towards anxiety. Yeah. But if I'm out, out in the open, I just wanna be peaceful and just feel that energy.
Well, and let's face it. I mean, you live in a magical place. You live in a place that, exactly. people talk about it and they need to go there for 2 or 3 weeks just to feel the energy there. And I mean, some people, they have no idea when I talk about energy like that, they're like, what the hell are you even talking about? Has your relationship to that word changed at all since you've started meditating?
Yeah. So I would say that I'm a very spiritual guy, and what I used to believe was that spirit and energy kind of intertwined, which they kind of do, but in this case, it's kind of separated. So energy in this case would be, you could let go of negative energy, you have positive energy, and the spiritual side of it is a little bit different. You kind of see that in a positive light at all times. So that's how I kind of, once I differentiated that, I was able to be at peace with myself. And that helped me in my spiritual side.
I feel you. Are you fortunate enough to live near the beach?
I'm actually right in the middle. So I'm right in the middle of every beach.
Oh, there you go.
It's considered central. Yeah. So about 25 minutes from north, south, west, east.
Wow. That's that, and I mean, we talk about gratefulness a lot on this thing as well. And I mean, this is, again, these things leave clues, we, from a business standpoint, and I want to talk about Chronic here in a minute, but, success leaves clues when it comes to business and things like that. But you know what, peace and calmness and that inner peace, that leaves clues too. And so I love the journey. I don't know about you, but for me, I just love the journey of discovering these new things. And gratefulness is a huge part of that. Some of the things that you and I are talking about right now, if there are guys listening to this that are in the mess, whatever that mess might be, we're just trying to point to directions that might lead out of the mess. And many times, meditation's a huge one. What has gratitude been a part of your journey to healing in that sabbatical that you took?
Oh, definitely. And I would say gratitude in regards to, like I said, I'm born and raised in Hawaii, so I do have my family around me, and I have gratitude because I am grateful that my grandparents are still around, and they're like my best friends to me. So I see them almost every other day, and I vent everything to them. I tell them everything. And, in that regards, I do have gratitude throughout my process because they understand what I'm going through, and they understand my process, and they've been so supportive throughout everything. So that, yeah, I've definitely been grateful for everything.
I got to tell you, here's something I'm grateful for right now. You've just said something and you have no idea that you could have done this. You just sent shivers of gratitude running up and down me right now, just by saying that statement. I'll tell you why. I've talked a little bit on this podcast about my granddaughter. She's my everything. She's 3 years old. Talk about island. She's got a little Hawaiian in her, and it shows. Like, she looks like a little island baby. I met The Rock's mom a couple of years ago, and when Alara was just 1 year old, and I showed her a picture of Alara, and she's like, "Oh my God, this island baby! I want to just hug her." Like, that's what she looks like. She is my favorite little creature in the world. Ever since she was born, she went through some medical stuff. Thank God she's on the other side of it. But I just love her so much. She sleeps over at our house at least once a week, and my goal in life right now, I mean, a lot of big goals in life, had a lot of cool experiences. I'll tell you this, if I only achieve one more goal in life, it's that when she is your age, how old are you right now, Trev?
I just turned 25.
Okay. Oh my God. If my granddaughter, when she is 25, feels the way about me and says the things about me, the way that you do about your grandparents, like, that gives me so much hope. I just want her to be my best friend and my little buddy forever. And you just saying that just gave me massive hope that might be a reality.
Oh, it definitely will be. If you give her lots of attention, she will definitely consider you her favorite.
It's a different relationship, right? Between your parents and your grandparents.
100%. And it's so funny. So my mom's dad always tells me that he always believed that he was a better granddad than he was a father, because he just spoiled the grandkids. But and I know a little bit about that. They're a lot relatable too. You tell your grandparents a lot of things that you wouldn't tell your parents. Yeah. At least from my experience, that's what I do.
From your lips to God's ears, my friend. That's amazing. And getting back to gratitude here, I just am so grateful that you are able to talk about this and willing to talk about this, because again, that stigma is there where so many times we don't. And not only that, you are building this coffee company. First off, I want to know about the name of Chronic, where that came from, and what was the genesis of that. But second, you have taken it and decided to add that social impact piece to the business. Now, had you made that decision before you took your sabbatical, or was it a result of your sabbatical that you decided that you wanted to tell everybody about what it is that Chronic is doing and how you're giving back?
It was definitely the result of the sabbatical. So I actually wasn't thinking too far into it beforehand. But once I felt that connection to it, I just felt like I needed to spread that message. And I built my brand based on my family. So the word chronic, I actually heard it from my friend. One of my friends said that he was a chronic for coffee. And for some reason that just stuck with me. Yep. Like, I just needed to have it in the morning. Sometimes I need it at 2 p.m. It's everybody can kind of relate to that.
Yeah.
And the roots part of it. So throughout COVID in 2020, we did a lot of research on my family history. So like I said, I'm half Puerto Rican. And what we found was that my great grandfathers were coffee farmers in Puerto Rico. So
wow.
Yeah, so that's how the roots connected to it. So that's how I got Chronic Roots Coffee.
Very cool. Talk a little bit about Hawaiian coffee compared to around the rest of the world. What makes your coffee so awesome?
Hawaiian coffee is a little bit different. So I actually put a lot of flavoring into my coffee, but natural flavoring. So I don't put any syrups. It's all 100% natural. So like I do have a cinnamon haze flavor, and it's made with cinnamon and hazelnut sticks, and it's blended in with the coffee, even with the beans. So everything is made 100% natural.
How big is this thing now? How big do you want to get it?
I want to make it a national thing. So that's actually why I wanted to pick Heads Up Guys and partner with them, because I know that they're a national company, and I do want to help more people in my community. Yep. But I also have connections in Wisconsin. I went to school in Wisconsin. I have connections in California, Nevada, Washington. So, I want to spread that message beyond and get as far as I can, really.
What do you see this company? How big do you see this company being? Are you going to be like a factory coffee guy?
I want to have a coffee shop for sure. I want to have a local coffee shop to start. That's for sure. And then hopefully become a factory and, do the whole wholesale and then, get into the big corporations and all of that.
Big distribution, all of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But for now, I want to start with a coffee shop. That's on my mind for sure.
What was your, before you started this company, what was your background?
So like I said, I'm 25 years old. I graduated college when I was 21. So about 4 years ago, and I worked in sales actually. And how the coffee portion got on my mind. So I worked for a global packaging company called Viking Basic, and I worked in sales with them. So I sat in on a lot of really great meetings with companies like Kellogg's, Starbucks, Goya Beans, and I saw a lot of coffee roasters. And what my company did was sell them packaging machines for their coffee bags. Yep. And I don't know why I always steered to coffee, and I just felt a connection to it. And then finding out about my family history, it just all made sense to me. And that's when I took the leap of faith and led myself to coffee.
What's been the biggest struggle so far as you've been putting yourself through the wilderness from going from the corporate job and the benefits that come with that to the idea of entrepreneurship and all of the terrifying highs and dizzying lows that can come in that adventure? What's the biggest struggle been for you?
I tell you what, every day is different. That is for sure. That I would say that's like every job, but when you're an entrepreneur, every day is different. That is for sure. But I will say that for me, since I am still young, funding for me is a big portion, is a big struggle for me at times, especially trying to fund a big coffee company that I'm trying to make this. So
you're trying to fund a vision. You got a vision.
Yeah, I have a big.
You have to translate that vision to somebody who has the means to help you get that vision. And in that right there, just the communication alone can be a struggle, never mind actually making that happen.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And I've actually done this all by myself. So I don't have a team behind me. So that's the next struggle is okay, who do I bring on board that wants the same vision that I do? That's the next big step for me.
I know that the team at really is mindful of this, not just because he's a startup on its own, but because many times there are guys, and I mean, I use this phrase all the time, silos. They talk about silos, how men, put themselves in and they separate themselves almost. And when that loneliness can hit whatever the arena, but here we're talking business, it's really cool to sometimes have a guy who might be going through something similar where there is no, they got no horse in that race kind of a thing, right? Or no dog in that race, where they can just go back and forth and talk about some of these things and how both guys, iron sharpens iron, how both guys can be sharpened from that. That's something that he definitely wants to implement, a place where, in the plans, there's going to be an entrepreneur room where entrepreneurs can kind of go in there and sharpen each other back and forth. When you saw HeChangedIt, I just spoke about, the struggle of being the entrepreneur. When you saw HeChangedIt, did you see the vision of things like that and the benefit of things like that?
Definitely. And like I said, what really caught my attention with HeChangedIt was the mental fitness side of it. So it's more of a performance based app, which I want to incorporate in my life. I'm physically active every single day.
Yeah.
I meditate every single day. So this is something that I can really relate to, and I think it's such a great thing to have a fitness based app that connects all aspects pretty much.
Yeah, because people think fitness, they think physical automatically, right? But that's one piece of a very big puzzle when it comes to being a man in 2021.
Exactly. So yeah, it even connects to your spiritual side. There's also things that'll help you. Of course, physically. Actually, I saw some things that'll help you physically, and then of course mentally. So it really does the full 360.
Oh man, and that's cool. And if you were to talk to the team, they'd be telling you, "Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet." The plans that they have and the things that they're working on in the background here are awesome. But to go back to the struggle that you talked about, at the same place, waiting for that partnership to come, that right piece of funding, because at the end of the day, it's not just about the money. You want to make sure that you find a right partner. I can assume that's the same with coffee. You need to find somebody that sees your vision and wants to help you run with that vision.
Exactly. And it's funny that you mentioned that. So I was just telling my dad the other day, I've sold quite a bit of coffee bags since I've opened up. But what was the most meaningful thing to me was when somebody messaged me on Instagram, and it was somebody I haven't talked to in years. And he was like, I really loved what you're doing about sharing your story and sharing your experience with mental health, because I've struggled with sharing my experience, and I kind of want to look into it. And I feel like that was the most impactful thing to me.
Oh, did he freeze? Okay, you froze for a second. Still frozen? Not frozen? Okay, you there?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we're back. Okay, it froze.
Oh, sorry. It did freeze on my end too.
No, that's okay. So you had somebody reach back out to you, and when you shared your story, and they talked about how they've gone through it too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it was somebody I haven't talked to in a really long time, and I was so surprised on who this person was. So that's how I knew it was really impactful. And that it was what made that was so much more meaningful than just selling a bag of coffee. And that's kind of how I would look into sharing a partnership, with somebody. That's the kind of vision I would want to see in somebody.
Oh my God. Yeah. You and I are spirit brothers in so many ways. I also have a corporate background, and don't get me wrong. There are some cool things, like you talked about that meeting with Kellogg's. I've been part of meetings like that in my corporate life too, that were cool. Like, it was cool to be part of that. Like, it was okay. That was neat. But I found it many times at the end of the day, and after a long period of time, I found it soulless. I found it like, but being part of something where you're helping people or you're giving back, that speaks to me like crazy. And including that in your model for what your company is doing, when you blow this thing up, I mean, okay, yeah, you've sold a lot of coffee bags right now. Well, you want to sell a lot more to show people your brand and your flavors and all of the amazing things, but you're also already helping people. You shared with that one guy. Imagine what happens when you get a magnifying glass or a megaphone on what it is that you're doing, how many people you'll be able to help. How good will it feel when your head hits the pillow at night at that point?
Exactly. And that's what I'm hoping for with all of this. So when you say about this explosion, that's exactly what I would want. I would want to see how many people I would help in the long run compared to how many coffee bags I would sell in the long run. That's really what it's all about. It's all about helping people and helping as many as people that we can. I told you that time is slippery when we do this. And I mean, this is amazing. This is your first podcast. You've never done this before. No, I've never done this before.
Nah, you'd never know it. You'd never know it, man. I appreciate how vulnerable you are. I appreciate how your story is such that is so relatable. There's a lot of guys that can relate to this in many, many, many ways. And you know what? We get a whole bunch of different listeners here. If there's somebody out there who wants to get into the coffee business, who wants to look at this, who wants to maybe partner up, who likes what Trevor is saying, what's the best way to follow you, connect with you, get a hold of you, learn about the company? Throw the deets out there, man.
Yeah, for sure. You can follow us on Instagram at Chronic Roots Coffee, or you can hit me up directly at my email at chronicrootscoffee@gmail.com. So that would be the best way to connect with me.
That's fantastic, man. We just appreciate you taking time and again, kind of bearing your soul here. As we move to the close, talking about some of these things, talking about entrepreneurship, talking about mental health, talking about the curveballs life throws us, PTSD, all of that kind of stuff. Do you have a message that you would like, if there's a guy out there who's listening, who's unsure about his footing, is there a message out there that you want to throw to him, a little life raft?
Yeah, I would say if you're unsure, just be open to the process and connect with someone. If you want to connect with a family member or a friend at first, that's completely fine. But just make sure that you're ready to get the help. And once you hit that point, I would say seek it when you can.
Yeah. And the feeling afterwards when you do, like we kind of rabbit trailed this one a little bit, but maybe bringing it home, let's talk about the freedom that comes and the relief that comes. And again, we used the word empowerment earlier, the empowerment that comes when you do make that decision to do that. How much better can life get and how quickly can it happen?
Oh my gosh, it can happen very quickly. If you really focus and attend to the needs of yourself and put yourself forward, it can happen within a month. It can happen within weeks. And the relief that you get, it's so beneficial that I can't even put it into words.
Yeah, man. I can't echo that enough. The overwhelm, when you're in the fog, you think you're never coming out and you're the overwhelm and the paralysis and all that shit that shows up, and at the same time, and you can't even articulate it as well as I just articulated it there. It's just you're lost, but getting found can happen nearly instantaneously. And you can sure make a lot of progress instantaneously to a quick result. You are an example of that. Thank you very, very much for sharing your story, Trevor. I can't thank you enough for talking about your experience. I can't thank you enough for supporting our boys over at Heads Up Guys and us here at HeChangedIt. If ever we can do anything for you and just appreciate this relationship. Can't wait to watch it grow as both of our little empires here start to blow up.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys for having me so much. Thank you for letting me share my experience. I had such a great time on here and I hope we can do it again in the future. That'd be awesome.
Oh, my man. Yeah. Let's watch each other as we all inch ahead in everything that we're doing. Let's monitor it and let's keep each other posted.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds good, Mike. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you too, man. They go by real quick. That was Trevor Perry, Chronic Root Coffee. Check him out. Check out what he is doing. It's not just coffee. It's coffee with a conscience. It's coffee that wants to solve some problems. It's coffee with a curveball to it from Hawaii, from one of the most beautiful, magical places on earth. We're really, really grateful that he took time out of his day to be here. Once again, HeChangedIt is available for download. Please download it. Please share it. Same thing with the podcast. We love to subscribe. You know what? I just love doing this in these conversations, but the people behind me are all saying, hey, look, we want to get our analytics to the place. The analytics, the way that grows is when people actually hit the subscribe button, when people actually hit the share button. We would appreciate it so much. Hey, we want to change the world. We want to make the world a better place for men out there and beyond. Because guess what? If men's worlds are better, everybody's worlds around those men are going to be better too. Partners, wives, family, kids, business partners, the whole thing. If we can help improve a man's life, we can improve the world. So thank you very much for all of the support that you've been giving. My name is Mike Chisholm. I am the host of heCast, the official podcast of HeChangedIt. Go change something.